You clicked on this video because you want a soft life. You want a life where you don't feel like you're stressed all the time, and you want people and society to also facilitate that soft life for you. And I'm sure you've been watching so many videos on social media about how to get a soft life and you feel like nothing is working. Today, I'm going to be spilling the tea on how to actually get the soft life. And some of the things I'm going to be telling you are going to seem pretty toxic, because a lot of what you actually have to do to get a soft life is a lot of stuff that people are usually not willing to do. Number one, stop arguing with everybody and their mom. If you want to make space for people, situations, and a life that will make your nervous system calm and make you a better version of yourself so you have energy, time, and money for everything you want, you have to stop arguing with people about the standards you deserve, or in general, just arguing with people about things that don't have an impact on your life. If you're somebody who likes to argue with people, prove your point, always be right, especially when it comes to showing people how smart you are, you will most likely not have a soft life because you're addicted to your nervous system always having something to fight. Living a soft life means selecting and choosing your battles wisely and always trying to prove to people how smart you are, or especially arguing with people about why you deserve this and this and that, or telling people why you want a soft life. Using your words will always set you up to wasting your energy, because the people that will engage with you in these arguments or challenge what you think you deserve are people that are also addicted to getting their nervous system riled up. And when you're constantly entering into a ping pong battle between, well, I deserve this, are you sure you deserve that, I want to grow, you shouldn't grow, none of you guys are going to grow. They also get a thrill out of arguing with people about what they deserve and that they're never getting it. And oh, I want a soft life too, but I sure can't get that. If you want a soft life, the first thing you have to do is silence. And that leads me to step number 2. If you want a soft life where you are calm, you get what you want, you have a partner who adores you, people in your circle that adore you, you adore them, you do what you want, you have to focus on what you do want rather than what you don't want. If you're constantly talking about, I went through this, I went through that, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want these type of people in my life, I don't want this in my life, you're naturally going to get more of that. It's called the law of attraction. Because of our reticular activating system, our brain is trained to seek whatever we put energy into. Like when you tell yourself, if I go outside, I'm going to focus on all the blue cars. You're going to see more blue cars. That's what happens too when we focus on the things that we don't want. And that's why a lot of people end up being stuck in a cycle of negativity and things being hard and things feeling hard. Because instead of seeing their negative feelings as feelings that are passing by, they identify with the feeling and say, I am this feeling, I am the negativity, I don't want this, I don't want that. They take everything that they don't like and they don't want into their circle, their little bubble, and they say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, by holding it closer. And now you have all of this in your little circle. Do you think you're going to have space for all of the things you do want? No, but it's going to feel way better to hold on to all of the things and being able to talk about all of the things you don't want. It feels nice to be able to complain about all of the things you've gone through, all of the things you don't want in your life, all of the things that have to happen before you make any new choices. Same thing goes for being able to complain about your family or your friends not accepting your growth. A lot of people try to approach getting the soft life with being hard-headed, thinking they're setting standards by telling people what they don't want. And by being on some, I don't want this, I don't want that, I deserve better. But that's only going to make people see that you don't have a calm nervous system, that you don't have a soft life. And they're going to want to poke at you more because they can see that you're someone you can poke. Basically, toxic people can see that you're someone whose toxic energy hasn't quite left the chat yet. So they will rather put wood onto the fire so that you stay where you are, because that means that they can have someone to complain with. This leads me to number 3, which is you need to stop telling everybody that you want a soft life. If you're somebody who wants to be a stay-at-home wife, who has her own business, you make your money from home, not stressed out. Maybe you have a job where you do what you want. Maybe your job is doing makeup because that's what you've been wanting your whole life. Whatever it is your soft life dream is, you don't need to tell everybody about it. You need to get better at lying to people that are constantly questioning you, the people that make you feel like you have something stuck in your throat and your heart rises and you feel like, oh, I need to explain myself. These people will always be asking you questions, and until you can remove your energy completely, which is always a little hard, especially when it comes to family members, sometimes you'll have to be in the room with them and they might ask questions. You'll just have to answer very generically until you're at the point where you have the soft life, where you can comfortably remove your energy and where you're so calm you don't even need to ever be in a room with, or when you are in a room with them, nothing can shake you. You're gonna have to lie. You're gonna have to tell people what they want to hear so that they don't ask any questions. It is better for them to be right, for them to not be challenged, so that you can get your peace. That's why I say if you want a soft life, you can't be hard-headed. You have to understand that people that want to challenge your beliefs are not doing so because they're trying to convince you of anything. They challenge you, ask stupid questions, make you riled up, trigger you, because that makes them feel slightly better about themselves, even if it's toxic. And you might think you're a better person for telling people, especially family members, about everything you've got going on. But especially at the beginning of your growth journey, you're gonna have to take a little minute before you're cemented in the values you've created for yourself, in the journey you are embarking upon. And in order for you to get that momentum and not plateau and enter into the sadness and the hardship you've been doing before, in order for you to actually sustain your self-growth, you have to not tell people about what you're doing so that they don't have the opportunity to question what you're doing. It is very important when it comes to getting the soft life that you go at your own journey on your own. And it's going to be a little harder in the beginning. You might be extra frustrated in the beginning because you can't tell people, but it's for your own best. And you will also understand that it also makes you a much softer person to know that you've got yourself. When you're not constantly trying to over-explain yourself whenever it is you're trying to do something different, you also don't hold as much resentment towards other people. You don't feel as much strain because it's not their business, and you don't take it personal if they have some type of opinion they want to impose on you. That's why I said they get to be right and you get to have peace, and you can focus that energy on yourself, your growth, the life you want to have, instead of telling everybody how you want this and you want that in your life. People will see it through actions, through when you get the soft life and suddenly they realize you're out of reach. But you shouldn't be telling everybody that that's what you're working on, because then people are going to shame you and they're going to be like, oh my God, you're leaving us behind, because that's what they feel. And it's a genuine feeling that people feel when you tell them that you're trying to do something different. And in order for people not to have that shock, sometimes you just shouldn't tell them. The next thing you have to master if you want the soft life is playing dumb. And when it comes to playing dumb, most people don't want to do that because they've worked so hard for being smart. They've done so much to earn their smartness, so they should be able to show it to the world. And that's where most women end up actually being set up to be super hardened their whole life, never getting the soft life, never getting the things they actually want, because their idea of being smart is that you need to show it to people. Their idea of being smart is, how efficient can I be? How much can I prove to everybody that I know how to do things? Smartness becomes something that isn't inherent, that you're not inherently worthy and inherently smart and inherently good for just being you. You are only worthy if you can show people how much you know and how much you can do. And that's why playing dumb is actually a protective mechanism. Playing dumb doesn't mean you don't know the difference between blue and green. Playing dumb just means knowing that you're inherently smart, you're inherently valuable as you are. Not having to go into discussions, arguments with everybody anytime you hear something where you know a little bit more. And especially not doing things for everybody just because you know more about it. It is always better to keep your talents, what you're actually really good at, a little more on the down low, especially if you're trying to escape a toxic environment. When I say play dumb, I don't mean that you're gonna go your whole life without being able to discuss something that you're super interested in with people. Playing dumb usually means understanding that in certain environment where people believe in scarcity, aka that you can't have everything, they are more likely to want to take advantage of other people's smartness to make them do things for them. And when they see a woman who's beautiful and smart and knows what she wants, they get intimidated and they're gonna be on some, oh, well, are you sure you're that smart? Prove it to me. And the woman who's been raised to believe she's a good woman for doing everything for everybody, she will do that and she will burn herself out. She will get tired. She'll get frustrated. She'll grow resentment. She'll end up with a victim complex. She'll end up blaming it on everybody else, and she'll get stuck in a cycle of always blaming things on everybody, having it harder and harder and harder. This is where playing dumb is actually a protective mechanism that will set you up for life. Because arguing with stupid people about stupid stuff, just because you're a little smarter and you know more about it, makes you both look stupid from a distance. What a real smart person does is understand that your inherent value, your inherent worth, your capabilities don't need to be on show for people to know that you're capable of. Imagine you were growing a big garden, and in order for you to prove to people that you were able to grow flowers, you needed to give the flowers away every time. What would end up happening? You would end up having no flowers left, and people would be like on some, you don't know how to grow flowers because you don't have any flowers. But in the beginning of you growing flowers, people might be like, show your flowers, give me a flower if you're that good at growing flowers. Instead, you need to remove that energy and grow your flowers in peace. Be like, I'm not that good at growing flowers, duh. And eventually people will see, actually, she is pretty good at growing flowers. She has a freaking meadow. But you were not trying to show people how good you were by giving them all of your flowers. Playing dumb has everything to do with preserving your own peace and not letting people that don't plan on helping you out, making your life better, disturb it. It has everything to do with being someone who might come off a little shallow, a little like you're only interested in material things, beauty, girly things, in a way that makes it clear to people that you're not here to be on some everything's gotta be super serious. We gotta always prove to each other that we're so good at things. It's more about, okay, well, I'm a girly girl. I'm gonna go sing my karaoke song. Oh my God, I love makeup. I love clothes. People will realize that you're not somebody that you can go and get a bunch of energy from. They will have to supply energy for you to be in their company, and they will leave you alone because miserable people love company. Misery loves company. That's what they say. They don't want to be around someone who's really fun, because that means that they can't be complaining about all of the things. And if you're someone who's a little dumb, doesn't quite understand what's going on, when you lean more into your outside appearance and materialistic things and just being a little more fun, upbeat in that sense, not quite knowing what's going on, not having to know what's going on, not always having to be perfect, people will leave you alone because they understand that you're not somebody who's going to feed into their misery. They're going to have to actually be more positive, and they don't want to do that because they get a kick out of being negative. They get a kick out of making everybody else negative because then they feel like they don't have to grow. They just want to keep people down instead of actually having to grow with them. So playing dumb is a protective mechanism. This leads me to the next point, which is you can't be a perfectionist. If you're somebody who wants a soft life, you're going to have a soft approach to growth. You can't be hard-headed if you want a soft life. And a soft approach doesn't mean like, we're only going to take baby steps and we're never going to do anything that exceeds our nervous system, because big changes are sometimes going to have a big impact on your nervous system. Things are going to feel a little extra strained, a little extra hard, a little extra scary before things become really, really good and calm. And I'm not saying you're not going to do anything for the rest of your life when you master these soft life skills. What you're just going to have to learn is you're going to have to let go of perfectionism, everything always having to be perfect, everything always having to be well done, everything always having to be according to a specific one-way plan. A lot of women end up sabotaging the growth, the potential they have that could actually give them all the money, the resources, the life they want, so they wouldn't have to deal with other people's BS, because they want things to go according to a very, very narrow path. They have one vision and one vision only, and there's nothing wrong with having a specific vision, but there's something wrong with believing that blessings can only come from one little narrow path. And more so, making sure that everything you do is perfect. Making sure that when you post a YouTube video, everything has to be perfect from day one. Making sure that when you do a makeup look for the first time ever, when you're doing makeup, everything has to look perfect, like the girl you saw on social media. Making sure that first time you go to the gym, you got to do a 3-hour workout and you do it every single day. Do you think that's going to make you motivated to go for the life you want? No, it's just going to make you think, oh, misery is easier to be in. Because misery doesn't ask for you to change. And misery is going to be like, oh, it's good for you not to change. So you're going to be like, I'd rather choose my old life than I would choose growth, because growth requires for me to be perfect. That is an illusion that misery sets up in your head so that you actually don't get the life that you want. Perfection kills your soft life. And understand that perfection and standards are not the same. Having standards is a very different thing than being a perfectionist. A perfectionist has something to do with not letting yourself have fun in the process, not letting yourself make mistakes, not letting yourself fall and get back up again when it comes to setting up your life for yourself in a way that you could do things by yourself, for yourself. If I had lived with a perfectionist mindset when I started this social media account, I would have never gotten to where I am today. The reason my social media account has worked so well for me is because I've let myself make mistakes. I've uploaded videos I wasn't 100% satisfied with. Showing up and being consistent matters much more than being perfect. The kid who shows up to class 100% of the time but barely asks any questions, he's still gonna get attendance. But the kid who shows up once but is perfect with every single question, they're still gonna get flagged as not being there. And the kid who probably was there is probably gonna get a lot more benefits from actually having stuck around. Same goes with learning any lesson. Learning how to ride a bike. The first 3 times you're trying to do it, you might be really bad, but you will learn as it comes if you don't judge yourself. But women usually put themselves on such a high standard when it comes to thinking that, well, my standards are this high, which means that I need to aim for perfectionism, but that doesn't even make sense. You need to aim for progress, and progress is soft Progress is hugging. Progress is saying, okay, it didn't work out, we're gonna try something different. Progress is not taking your failures personal because they weren't what you wanted, so why are you taking it so freaking personal? It's not taking whatever people are saying about where you are right now personal, because you know that's not the end result. That's letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is letting go of that people pleaser mentality, that you got to make sure that everybody has a specific reaction to you in order for you to be okay, because that's what usually makes our nervous system the most upset. It is us thinking that people need to have a specific reaction towards us, and if they don't, then everything is going to fall. It is better for us to let people have whatever reactions they want, understanding that if they're not paying our bills, if we're not becoming a better version of ourselves because of whatever they're saying doesn't matter. That's letting go of perfectionism. Letting yourself be, letting yourself grow. Because once you let go of having to think about what everybody else thinks, once you let go of having to think about what your mom thinks, everybody and their mom thinks, and also just start doing things, you're gonna realize you don't really have time to think about what other people think. You're focusing on the growth. If you're trying to catch a plane in the airport and you had to technically run to the gate to catch this plane, and people in the airport kept shouting at you, "Are you sure you're gonna make it? Are you sure you're gonna make it? You can never make it." Would you stop up in your path to get to that gate to catch that plane? Would you stop and talk to them and be like, "I will catch this plane. Just you watch me. I will catch this plane. Why do you think I can't catch it?" Would you start arguing with them about how you are going to catch that plane? Or be like, "Are you sure? Like, wow, you really think I can't catch it?" Once you stop up and interact with people and argue with people about your standards, as I said with the whole stop arguing with people, if you stop up and focus too much on what everybody else got to say, you're not going to catch the freaking plane. And once you're on the plane, you're literally lifted off the ground. Do you think anybody's opinion matters when you're on your way to the country where you're going to have a sweet vacation? No. You're going to be so freaking happy that you just ran for the plane instead of stopping up and arguing with people about how you were going to catch the plane, because then you wouldn't have caught the plane, and then they were going to be like, "I was right, told you so." That's why you can't be worrying about what other people say. You can't be worrying about perfection. Do you care how you look when you're running for the plane? No. Do you care that your makeup is all over the place and you're like running like a maniac and your bags are all everywhere and your hair doesn't look perfect? No. You're just trying to get there. You're just trying to get there. And that leads me to the last point about getting the soft life, which is you gotta be more fun. And more fun means you gotta be focusing on all the things you do want in this life. What is it that you want? Where's your Pinterest board with all of your inspiration? What are your dreams? What is something that you love? And it can be childish. Do you love frogs? Do you love makeup? Do you love Barbie movie? What type of music makes you want to get up and dance? Getting to the soft life includes letting the soft life exist now. Do you think you need to be someone who's like super hard and like, "I'm gonna get my standards and I want this and I want that"? Do you think that doing that will get you the soft life? The law of attraction literally is, well, whatever it is you focus your energy on, you're gonna get more of. Same with law of assumption. You have to assume that whatever it is you want is already there, and then it does come. Getting the soft life can't come through being hard-headed. You have to implement soft life things in your life already. So the void where all of the negative things that you were letting in like crazy don't have space, so that you can foster the positivity, the calmness, the love. Of course, you're gonna end up miserable if you remove everybody from your life because they're negative, and you're gonna be like, "This is my standards." But then you don't focus on what is it that you want. What type of clothes do you want to wear? What type of makeup do you want to do when you live that soft life? What type of movies do you want to watch? How do you want to feel? You got to do everything you can to feel that way today. Even if you can't get there 100% today, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to have the taste of it. Kind of like when you go to Nordstrom or whatever and you smell a perfume and you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna remember the sensation of it." You're gonna want more of that. And then you're gonna set up yourself for more of the soft life because you let yourself have a taste of it instead of holding yourself back until everything was perfect. Letting yourself be someone who doesn't hold yourself back. You are good enough. You're inherently amazing. So of course you deserve the soft life, but you can't get the soft life by being hard-headed. You can't get it if you're not focused on all of the great things that are out there. A soft person is somebody who inspires, somebody who rests in their own self, and who chooses calm over having to argue with everybody about how smart they are. Having a soft life means letting people think whatever they want to think. knowing that that sets you up for the peace you actually deserve.